language of the Citizenship Clause conveyed that. Lower courts had blocked the executive order ahead of Supreme Court arguments in April. Justices Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch dissented.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Justice Clarence Thomas writing that the 14th Amendment designed to secure equal rights for freed slaves has instead been, quote, repurposed for political projects that the Reconstruction Congress did not support. President Trump so far focusing on today's other rulings, including bans on transgender athletes in school-sponsored girls' sports. The High Court upholding bans in West Virginia and Idaho.
The NCAA, the Olympic Committee, and others have said that women that are biological should have freedom to compete in their particular leagues and their particular activities and events without biological males, biologically born males, being able to intrude on those spaces.
Fox's Shannon Bream at the court, which split along ideological lines. President Trump calling that a big win. He also calls a ruling on political spending a big win for Republicans and the First Amendment.
The majority opinion in the National Republican Senatorial Committee versus the Federal Election Commission found limits on how much money can be spent when a political party coordinates with its own candidate do violate free speech rights.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Justice Kavanaugh writing campaign finance limits must prevent corruption, but that caps on coordination go too far. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect partly sunny skies with a breeze and hot temperatures reaching a high of 94. Tonight will be mainly clear, very warm and humid with a low of 77. Tomorrow will bring very hot and humid conditions with hazy sunshine and breezy winds in the afternoon, reaching a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Hugh Hewitt sees a big win for Trump.
They signed this big second reconciliation, which again, Speaker Johnson pulls a rabbit out of the house. I think this guarantees that the wall will be finished. They have 2.5 years now to finish the entirety of the wall, if it's not already done, to finally seal the southern border with a physical barrier.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Welcome to The Real Story. Thanks for joining us today. Lots going on. Of course, breaking news. The Supreme Court has decided in a 6-3 decision to uphold birthright citizenship, meaning that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So this is a huge announcement. Of course, I think it was expected that it would go this way. I'm not sure that people expected that it would go with a 6-3 decision with only Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas finding in a dissent on that particular case. But it brings up the question. And the question is, just like the question with vote by mail counting of ballots post-election day, to what extent are you going to allow this to occur? Are there going to be any limits whatsoever? As you know, birth tourism apparently encapsulates about 330,000 people a year. That's a huge amount. 9% of births are also born to those who are non-immigrants, non-citizens, people not here necessarily legally, and yet that accounts for a large number of people. So are you going to allow this birth tourism to continue, where people literally are pregnant and are on a tourist visa, drop a baby in the United States, take that baby back to their country? So this is the deal. I mean, to what extent will our legislators make this happen? To what extent will that continue to occur? And it's going to actually be a legislative decision on this and many other things.
312-642-5600. You can text us or you could call us because, I just think back to the times when I lived in a border town and people in the middle of the night, women would cross over the Rio Grande, give birth at William Beaumont Hospital, and then have anchor babies, and then they were able to stay in this country. 245,000 of those 330,000 that you mentioned do just that. And when everybody flooded our borders or came across by the millions, you'd go walk around Chicago and all these women were pregnant. They were staying at the Inn of Chicago, right next to Michigan Avenue. And they got, when they gave birth, Jeannie, they had the finest strollers. They had better strollers than what we would have, working two jobs. They'd have like $500 strollers and car seats. So they knew the racket. And now they get to stay in this country and their kids are legal American citizens.
Well, my biggest concern is the Chinese who come over and, have a baby in one of our territories nearby and then take the child back to China. And when that child is 21, listen, they can start to go ahead and come over to the United States, bring over the parents as well, and then they can run for office and essentially take over the country this way. Like, why? If you're so proud of your country, Chinese, then stay there. And why would you have a baby on American soil just to give them birthright citizenship? It's wrong. Everybody knows it's wrong. Nobody likes it. The majority of the people don't like this. And the Supreme Court just, I think, made a terrible decision. But, this is actually something that the legislators could take up and make a decision on. The other thing that they could do, Amy, is essentially just cut off all benefits. Yep. I'm sorry, you're here illegally. You get nothing. Zero. No assistance whatsoever. None.
Well, it chaps my hide that people here illegally get free cell phones, place to live, clothing, food allowances, doctor visits, even drive them in a van to the doctor. I mean, that's not what our ancestors did. When my grandpa came here from Sweden, he came here with a bag and $20. And that was right before the Depression. And he had to work for everything that he had. And he had to have like 4 different jobs, but he didn't take any government handouts. And that's, those are the people who built the cities that we live in, who built Chicago and New York and Philadelphia. So it just, I wasn't surprised by the ruling today, but I'm not happy with it. Text message from 773, Jeanne and Amy, I kept saying that I do not trust and never will trust Amy Coney Barrett ever. So.
Yeah, well. Yeah, so lots to discuss today. We wanted to get to this, though. Mayor Johnson's out with his form of Mamdani's rent control. So
oh, yes.
It just gets better every day in Chicago. If you are dependent on the government to fight for you, if you're dependent on the government to, strike deals with your landlord because you can't manage it yourself as an adult, then that's when you go to somebody like Brandon Johnson to essentially be your rental assistance agent. It's disgusting.
It's called Protecting Renters Ordinance. And basically, just give you the bullet points real quick. It caps your security deposit to 1 month. It bans move-in fees, and it creates rental registry. We'll get to that in a second. And you have to establish a just cause for an eviction. So landlords will need to have a just cause for asking a tenant to leave their unit. And if they do not, are you ready for this? They're going to be required to support the tenant with relocation assistance, and then they're going to have to pay their rent for up to 5 months. Now, I talked to a few landlords today. They're like, that is ridiculous, because if a tenant is, they have large parties, they have they're leave garbage behind. That's a reason. If they damage the property inside, like if they punch holes in the wall, they can kick them out, but not with this. And you're going to love this, Jeannie. They also want to establish another government agency called the Tenant Protection Group that will check to make sure that landlords are doing what they're supposed to do. Here's Mayor Johnson, by the way.
We have not updated our renter protections since they were first established over 40 years ago. Relief is long overdue. And Chicagoans deserve an approach that puts people first and not profits.
Profits are a dirty, ugly word in this anti-capitalist DSA Democrat Party. You can't make a profit, Amy, because, and oh, by the way, I'm sorry, why are profits such a bad word? After all, that's what you get taxes from, you idiot.
I know. And then the thing is, too, I mean, the more the government gets involved, in private ownership, people are not going to want to become landlords. And guess what? Then rents are going to go up even more. Here's a girl who's excited about this. She's a Chicago girl, don't you know?
It would be really challenging for me if my landlord suddenly changed my rent and told me my lease is not renewed. Some tenants don't have the necessary resources to present legal aid for themselves in housing court, which is what this ordinance would give you.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't rent. Maybe you should just go live with your parents again or whatever. I mean, I don't understand why this is my problem. Are these folks not adults?
Well, they're not, because we've babied children so much. Well, some of us have. But more than half of Chicago households, Jeannie, are renters. And here's one landlord. She's a black female. Don't you know?
I'm a good landlord. My tenants are happy. However, with increasing property taxes, increasing utility costs, increasing operating costs, increasing maintenance costs, all of those things will make it impossible for small landlords like myself to stay in business.
Well, let's just add to that cost for her. Because guess what happens tomorrow? July 1st, 2026.
What?
The Chicago minimum wage goes up to $17.05. So anytime she hires anybody to do any work on any of her rental units, whether it's just cleaning them out, landscaping them, whatever it might be, small repairs, minimum wage $17.05 in Chicago starting tomorrow.
312-642-5600 is our number. And also, too, Mayor Johnson, I mean, they've raised our property taxes, so that increases costs to landlords. Did they factor that in, too?
They don't care. But, on another note, I will say this. It's not just Chicago, and Brandon Johnson getting in on controlling rent and what landlords can and cannot do. A massive bill passed just in the legislature. It was sent to the governor for his signature. It's HB 3564. In a number of other ways, it actually tells landlords what they can and cannot do in terms of processing charges, accepting applications, how they can accept payment or not accept payment. You have a third-party payment. You also have to make sure that they can get a check to you instead. I mean, it makes all these egregious rules on landlords, and of course, it's at the governor's desk. It's certainly going to be signed. And let's not forget, they've already prevented landlords from discriminating based on employment. They've already prevented landlords from discriminating based on criminal record. And of course, they are trying to prevent landlords from even looking at your credit score and be discriminating on that. So in many ways, they are tying the hands of landlords even before they rent, saying you can't look at these things as to whether or not these folks will actually pay you on time. And so it's getting really, really tough to be a landlord.
And there's something else too. Now the landlords have to pay this fee to register as a rental, as a landlord. So that's an extra $1,000 to $5,000. And I'm all for renters' rights. I mean, most of us have rented at some point in time in our life, but I mean, the socialists want to make it as though landlords owe tenants something. It doesn't work that way. They don't owe them anything. And certainly if they're bad tenants and there's destruction of property and they kick them out, they don't have to relocate them. That's none of their business.
Yeah, no, I mean, back to this, though. Think about it. Landlords are required to pay a relocation fee of 5 months' rent.
I know.
Or $5,000, whichever is greater, if the tenant is required to move because of owner occupancy, major repairs, demolition, or the sale of the unit. The relocation fee can be as high as $10,000 or 10 months of rent if there's proof that a landlord increases the rent significantly more in one unit than another, according to the ordinance. So I guess if you have a 2-bedroom with a really nice view and a balcony and you increase that rent more than some other 2-bedroom, you're stuck with this. Also, here's the other kicker, though, because, of course, there's a carve-out for everything that they think is, whoever they think is a better landlord. Relocation fees are reduced to $3,000 or 3 months' rent, whichever is greater, for nonprofits and owner-occupied buildings with 6 units or less. So if you're a nonprofit owner of a rental building, and I'm telling you right now, some of these nonprofits that own, affordable housing, rental, or however they want to call it, low-income housing, some of those who own it have already received massive tax credits and grants to build that type of housing, and now they're not even going to be subject to the same rules.
312-642-5600.
Okay, we've got some calls. Yeah. Let's go to Ron on the south side.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies. And before I get to that, I was solely disappointed about that ruling this morning. I understand it from the legal point of view, but I was looking at it from a moral point of view. You got rewarded for for committing the crime. So real quick, though, this Brandon Johnson and Amy, Jeanne, I agree with you all. I'm for tenants' rights, because we know they're slumlords. But there has to be a balance. Do you know how difficult it is to get people out of I have friends and relatives who rented apartments. They got out. Because people will come up and say, oh, that's for a minor repair. Nope, not paying you your rent. So it's just a balance. But I was happy to hear that the landlord showed up in force to protest that ordinance. And the last thing, that's not increasing affordability as far as rental housing. It's just going to make it more difficult because people are going to get out. So thanks, ladies.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bob real quick in Buffalo Grove. This was about the SCOTUS decision.
Hi, Amy and Jeanne. Always great talking to you. Though you know I'm an engineer and not a legal expert. However, I did have in my education courses in American history, political history, even in college. But tonight I'm going to be looking forward to hearing what the legal experts like Alan Dershowitz have to say on these rulings today. The three that I followed just before you started the program, I heard the ruling on the finances, the birthright citizenship, and the women's sports. It'll be interesting to see how people review these rulings. And your take on the, especially you, Amy, on the women in sports. are trans in sports. That was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Well, there's 25 states that it affects, but Illinois is not one of them.
That's because we haven't had a challenge to that ruling, but if we were to, or to the law that allows boys to compete with women's sports, if we have it now appears that if somebody were to challenge that, then it went to the Supreme Court, we would have no problem upholding that challenge. So, Michael on the south side.
Hi.
Michael?
Good morning, Jeannie.
Yes.
Good morning, Jeannie. Good morning, Amy. Thank you both for taking my call. As far as the Supreme Court ruling on the birthright citizenship is concerned, I feel like six justices committed treason.
All right.
No. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you for that. Okay. Thanks for joining us. The phone number here, 312-642-5600. Coming back up after the break, we're going to talk about Will and DuPage County and their ideas for affordable housing. It's a total scam, too.
Subscribe to the Real Story podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at 560theanswer.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Are you the Weston from Hasselus Mattress?
That's me.
I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, well, thanks.
The way you talk about employee-free Hasselus showroom, free next-day delivery, and prices that are way low. I mean, nobody does it better.
I don't know what to say.
Say that I can get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress.
Okay. Now through Monday, at Hasselus, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress.
Awesome.
You know what's really awesome? You can get a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Queen Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,459. But Hasselus has it for just $794.
I know. I have that tattooed on my...
Wow, you really are a fan.
Told ya.
Save big and get a free box spring through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago Immune Support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
At Audi Morton Grove, your complete satisfaction means everything to us. As a family-owned dealership, we're dedicated to making every visit your best experience. Whether you're shopping for a new Audi, visiting for service, or simply taking a test drive, you'll always receive the personal attention and exceptional care you deserve. Visit us at 7000 Gulf Road in Morton Grove or online at AudiMortonGrove.com. McGrath Auto. Service, value, reputation. That's the power of McGrath.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and fearless writers, Restoration News is the conservative media force fighting back in the information war for America's future. Download the Restoration News mobile app today or visit restoration-news.com. That's restoration-news.com. Real stories, real truth. It's time you knew what they don't want you to know.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Well, boy, these CBS reporters, they're getting it.
Well,
a reporter and photographer attacked by 3 men near the planetarium?
Yeah, it happened. I know it's a white man, Noah Brennan. He's the reporter. I don't know if he's related to Margaret Brennan, but they have the same last name.
Does it matter that he's white?
Well, it does matter because these 3 black men got out of a white tow truck and was shouting racial slurs at the photographer and his reporter. And then the guy ordered his dog to attack the duo there. This is Broad Daylight, 4 o'clock show at the Adler Planetarium. The dog would not engage. So another guy smashed the camera while a third took some object and broke the windshield of the car. Then the men took off without physically harming the reporter or photographer, and then 20 minutes later, police tracked the tow truck to Brighton Park, and there was a brief chase. The three are in custody, but you know what's going to happen, Jeannie? Because of the Safety Act, I'm sure they'll be right back out on the streets. But it's just strange. It's the second news crew, because remember Leah Hope was attacked in broad daylight. A guy jumped into her car right outside of Lake and State and grabbed her mouth. They tore her, the tenant underneath her tongue. And she offered him forgiveness. It's very Christian-like of her, but she said that he needs the mental health that he deserves. Like, you're the victim of a crime. And so it's crazy. There's no respect for police. There's no respect for reporters. Used to be back in the day, you see that live truck, it's like, ooh, you wouldn't dare touch it. Now they're trying to stick their dogs on them. It's crazy.
Well, a CBS spokesperson said this time, we're shocked and horrified by this crime, and we're grateful that our journalists are safe. Just to be clear here, the crew and 2 witnesses say a white or Hispanic man with a dog got out and then moved aggressively towards the crew, shouting racial slurs because the cameraman was an African-American male. So let's just get this.
That's not what WGN reported, but yeah, okay.
Okay, so this is from the CBS News, how they're reporting it. So who knows if it'll become a sort of a hate crime racial incident as well. We'll see. Okay, I want to cover this quick because it's another faux affordable housing plan, and this is HB 4571. It passed the House and the Senate. Unfortunately, it passed with Republican support too. But essentially what this would do, it allows Will and DuPage County, only Will and DuPage counties, to acquire property, develop it at taxpayer expense, and then lease or sell it below market rate back to people making up to 140% of the median income. Now, in DuPage County, the 140% of the median income would be $161,363, and in Will County, $153,000. Now, how dare you say that politicians can buy vacant property or donate property that they have, and then give a developer taxpayer grants or credits or loans or whatever they want to develop whatever housing they want to, and then they're going to lease or sell it back to people making $160,000. This is absolutely insane. It's so bad for taxpayers. Now, here's the other problem with that. Think about this. If Pritzker's Build Act passes after the election, which people do expect to happen, well, then you take away all sorts of local zoning rights. So now that property that DuPage County bought up on the street behind me because it flooded, in fact, they bought 2. Now, if the Build Act were to pass, or even without the Build Act, the county can come in and on these 2 vacant lots, go ahead and ask a developer to develop housing, and then they can give it to what essentially would be my neighbor who's making maybe more than the people living next door to them. I mean, this is absolutely communism. I don't know why people aren't upset about it. 312-642-5600. Yeah, so in the House, Republicans Laha, Santalitra, and Sheehan voted for it. And in the Senate Minority Leader John Curran, Seth Lewis, Sue Rezin, and Jill Tracy voted for the bill. What were they thinking? Well,
can they reach out to their legislators?
All right. Okay. So a lot of people have weighed in on this after I wrote about it. You can read about this bill at my website, breakthrough-ideas.com, where I give you a lot more information on it as well, along with the voting list if you want to check up your own representative. So just another form of socialism, communism, whatever you want to see, right here in DuPage and Will counties. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about Illinois 250. What are they doing for America's big birthday?
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft.
I'm a little concerned about the proposal that New York Governor Kathy Hochul, the legislation she signed, targeting speeders.
Hey, do you know, can you hear me
okay?
okay?
16 or more violations within a
Peter?
year period, you're required to install a, quote, intelligent speed limiter technology to restrict the car's maximum speed to the posted speed limit. 16 is a lot. Did I get 3 in a week? Maybe 2 in a day and 3 in a week. But anyway, that was a long time ago.
Chicago's Morning Answer, weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pelosi, final rulings out of the Supreme Court. The first, a loss for the president's executive order limiting birthright citizenship.
Right off the bat, it says children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause.
Fox's Shannon Bream. In another ruling, the justices decided
West Virginia and Idaho laws banning transgender girls and women from female sports teams do not violate the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. More than 24 states have similar laws, and the court's decision will likely settle disputes in those cases as well.
Fox's Jared Halpern, the president notched a win when it came to campaign finance spending, writing the Supreme Court took restrictions off political spending, a big win. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will bring partly sunny skies with a breeze and hot temperatures, reaching a high of 94. Tonight, expect mainly clear conditions with very warm and humid weather with a low of 77. Tomorrow will be very hot and humid with hazy sunshine becoming breezy in the afternoon and reaching a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Patrick, CEO of Total Wall and a client of Signature Bank. We produce high-performance materials used in exterior insulating finish systems and other stucco applications. Every growing business needs a strong team behind it. Over the years, Signature Bank has been more than a financial partner. They've shared their knowledge, offered guidance, and connected us with trusted professionals who help strengthen our business. They're a valuable extension of our team and a true partner. That's why I value my relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oakbrook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Estate planning lawyer and CPA Bob Carlson has done it again. His latest free report outlines a way to boost your Social Security income and create a lifetime monthly income stream 100% tax-free. Log on to retirementwatchreport.com to get yours. This Social Security retirement strategy is fully approved by the IRS. Log on to retirementwatchreport.com for your free report. That's retirementwatchreport.com. retirementwatchreport.com.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who answered that question 6 months ago saying, I'm not going to panic until it's down 30%, calls you up on the phone and says, it's down 8, what's going on? And I says, what happened to the 30% guy, right?
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Welcome back to The Real Story. Jeannie, we have a real story update. I know we've talked about kind of ad nauseum the Obama Center. The presidential was supposed to be a presidential library, but that was not good enough for the Obamas. They had to have a center where they could play basketball and host events. But they owe a lot of contractors, minority and non-minority subcontractors, a lot of money, millions of dollars, and they're fighting back. I spoke with Mike Owen. He's from Adamson Plumbing. He was first to appear on this show and then went, national. But he has filed a $1.72 million lien against Lakeside Alliance, City of Chicago, Chicago Park District, Barack Obama Foundation, and University of Chicago. It's money owed for construction costs because they don't want to file for bankruptcy. And he told me that they're one of 8 companies that are looking to get paid. So we'll stay on top of this story and let you know what happens, but hopefully they'll get their money, especially if I heard correctly that they paid some of the entertainers that were at the event and didn't pay the subcontractors. That's not a good look for the Obamas. All right, Jeannie, all this week we're celebrating America 250, and today we focus on Illinois. It's more than just the land of Lincoln. And joining us now is Gabrielle Lyon. She's chair of America 250 Illinois and executive director of Illinois Humanities. Good morning, Gabrielle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so glad to be talking with you.
Yes. So, a lot of people, we are staying in Illinois for the big 4th of July weekend. And what's some things that they can do?
Well, the great news is you don't only have to think about the 250th on July 4th. And that's one of the things that I think is really great about how Illinois is responding. But if you're trying to plan, as many of us do last minute, great fireworks on deck. If you're in the Chicagoland area, Peoria Riverfront will have fireworks. If you're a little, curious about what's right near you, honestly, you can go to the il250.org website and you will be able to find an event in your county. All 102 counties are stepping up to this moment.
That's wonderful. So you wrote in your initial discussion about it that Illinois became a state in 1818, 42 years after the formation of the United States. But we have been a significant force in what has made Illinois or America as great as it is. There's just no doubt about that. And so how long have you guys been working on creating this Illinois America 250?
Well, we announced the actual opportunity and suite of programs just this past December. We spent about a year before that really taking the pulse of what people wanted out of this. So, I was able to travel all over the state, and the themes that came up were really consistent, whether you were in, Effingham or Albany or Rockford or Chicago. People really are excited about, number one, celebrating right where they live. People know that the stories of their communities matter. So they really wanted to focus on place and where they're from. The second thing is really connecting what's happened in Illinois to the story of our country, like you just said. And I think when you look at the events, you look at this, basically small town, big city response, that's what you're seeing. Uplifting undertold stories and really people celebrating a pride of place.
Now, you mentioned that different counties are hosting different events. What county is really rocking it this 4th of July?
Oh, my goodness. I have to say that DuPage and DeKalb definitely come to mind as counties that have really organized a community design, right? So thinking about DuPage County, they even have a whole website you can go to for events happening all throughout the county. Those are public programs, library-based, but also things that the towns themselves are organizing. And then I think about DeKalb County, and just to call out one partner in specific, the DeKalb County History Center has created not only like world-class exhibitions that focus on the history of their community, but also are really inviting people in to basically talk about the Declaration of Independence and what it means. And I think that's something in Illinois we're very proud of. The idea is not really, well, what happened in 1776 and who were the founders and East Coast, blah, blah, blah. It's really the idea that basically the reason people care about the Declaration of Independence is because what happened right here. Abraham Lincoln really brought it back to people's attention and talked about the moral values of what it means to be an American and kind of what our charge is. And he did that, frankly, as a Midwesterner, you know, understanding all those tensions. So focus on the Declaration of Independence, I think. A few other places come to mind. Amazing things happening out of Alton, Illinois. So that's, you know, kind of along the Mississippi River. Macomb is doing an amazing set of programs. And if you're in the Chicagoland area and want an excuse to just go on a day trip, people should head to Peoria. The Riverfront Museum has one of the best exhibitions in the entire country. It was co-curated by Ken Burns, and it's called The Promise of Liberty. It'll knock your socks off. Plus, Peoria is adorable. It's so fun. It has great pizza. It's beautiful on the riverfront. So I'm a big fan of day trips.
Well, I also like to remind people that at our founding, at the Revolutionary War time, this was considered the Ohio Territory. And in Illinois proper now, at that time, both Cahokia and Kashkashki were places where there was, you know, British soldiers stationed, and Revolutionary War fighters essentially took those over. So we do have a piece of the Revolutionary War within our boundaries here in proper Illinois. So I think that's important for people to understand.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Absolutely. You know, the westernmost battle of the American Revolution was fought in what's now Illinois. But the second thing is some of those other things, you know, if you only think about the United States of America and its founding from the perspective of what was going on the Atlantic side, you're missing the fact that, like, France was trying to establish an empire, that we had Native Americans in these places. You know, it wasn't like there was some blank slate. And I think that when you look at, for example, what the Logan Museum is doing in Murfreesboro, or you look at the way even the American Writers Museum, they're constantly centering the people in Illinois who are like basically contributed to the way the country evolved.
Well, I like your initial quote that you put out in the About section on the il250.org website. You write, Illinois has always stood at the heart of the American story, and our communities have continually worked to fulfill the promise of the Declaration of Independence, from advancing equality and expanding freedom to challenging tyranny in all its forms. Generations of Illinoisans have pushed our nation closer to the ideals we cherish. And I wanted to bring that up only because when you do think about the presidents that we have sent to Washington, D.C. to lead this country, certainly you can look towards Lincoln and Grant for advancing equality. And you can certainly look to Ronald Reagan for challenging tyranny in all its form, as he did when he was president for those 8 monumental years where he brought down the Soviet Union. So, I mean, we have had phenomenal Illinoisans. And that's why I got to ask you, I don't know if you had any part about this. I don't know if your organization had anything to do with it, but why is it that we're not necessarily having showcasing Illinois at the Great American State Fair in D.C.?
I love, the fact that you're reminding all of us that we have 4 presidents with Illinois roots. In fact, we have a beautiful quote from Ronald Reagan in the passport to Illinois. So thank you for making sure people know that information. Actually, Illinois is being represented at the Great American Fair in Washington, D.C., through the Peoria Riverfront Museum. They really stepped up to bring to Washington the stories of agriculture, innovation, history, of course, Abraham Lincoln. And so we're really excited to have a partner with so much leadership that was able to do that. And I'm really excited to see some of the pictures that they'll be bringing back with them from that opportunity.
We're speaking with Gabrielle Lyon. She is the chair of America 250 Illinois. So how, I mean, it's never too late to get involved, but how can young people get involved in America 250 events and programs?
First of all, the calendar of events is a great way. Almost everything is free, lots of family programs. The second thing is there's wonderful resources. So if you're doing homeschooling, if you have a church group, the il250.org resources have reading lists, activities, all of which have an Illinois-centric opportunity. But the thing that I'm really encouraging people to do is pick up a copy of the Passport to Illinois, because again, it's a great excuse to, one, travel to a part of the state you maybe haven't seen, or two, really take a look with kids at the way that they're connected to history. You know, history belongs to all of us. It's not just in the past. So if you say, well, what did we do to commemorate the 250th? Well, maybe you visited Ronald Reagan's boyhood home. Maybe you visited the Elijah P. Lovejoy Monument or the Ulysses S. Grant home. But you might also go to see the Radium Girls Monument, where these young women who were literally making sure that people could see their clocks glow in the dark at night, really stood up and talked about what it was like to work as women in a workforce that wasn't very welcoming at the time. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm telling people to do with kids, is actually take them someplace, talk about it, and make memories.
On your website, you say that there's also a print form of this passport. Where could people pick those up?
Great. So the passports are available at all public libraries around the state. You can pick them up at highway visitor centers. There's a list of places where passports are available, but I'm also excited to let you know that Illinois Humanities is mailing passports upon request while we still have copies. It's one per household. The last thing is, if you want it today because you want to go someplace tomorrow, you can just download it for free right off the website.
Well,
all right, where's the best place to watch fireworks? Where are you going to go, Gabrielle?
That is not fair because, you know, I live on the, well, you know, it's not fair because it depends on what you're going for. You know, I live for a long time in East Side, on the far southeast side of Chicago. And frankly, I used to go to Hammond to watch fireworks because I just liked that vibe. You know, if you like the big city, Navy Pier will be doing the most spectacular fireworks. I think it's more than 15 minutes long. It's totally over the top. And then there's those of us that like fireworks out of our backyards and grill at home. So I think it's just a matter of choice.
All right. Well, there's a lot here on this website. I really highly encourage people to check it out, il250.org. You can even record a little bit of a message that I think will probably be saved and just tell people about how you feel about this 250 celebration. So appreciate you all putting this together. I'm sure it was a lot of work to do so, and we thank you for your information.
Well, thank you so much. And the good news is it's not just about July 4th. It's all 2026. So it's not too late to partner, to get involved, or to really make the most of what it means to be Illinois, be we the people, and take the country in the direction we most care about for where we live.
All right. Thanks so much, Gabrielle Lyon, chair of America 250 Illinois. You can go to the website at il250.org. Thank you so much for joining us. And coming up on The Real Story, Jeannie, are we paying for a horse farm for alcoholics? Yeah. We'll explain.
This is the show that the Chicago Press Corps and the Democrats in Springfield don't want you to hear. It's The Real Story on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah. Celebrate. Jeannie, what are you going to do for the 4th of July?
You know, I'm still undecided. Not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing.
Is Wheaton going to be doing anything?
Oh, Wheaton's got a lot going on. And tonight at the big Seven Gables Park, they have 2,000 flags out there. They have a speaker. I know WGN is covering the event. They've put out this whole... they painted essentially, you know, America 250 onto the grounds. It's really a beautiful patriotic site there in Wheaton. So they've got that going on, and they've got other events. So Wheaton's doing it up really well. I appreciate that. I still don't think that I have personally seen enough of individual patriotism out there.
Thank you.
On businesses and homes. Even on street banners. I feel like there should be a lot more of that going on, but I feel like folks are getting in the groove here. And the more that the media covers it, the more that they bring it up, I think that it'll resonate with people, and they'll reflect on how important it is that our patriots, went on in to give us a self-government, and ensure that people understood that you have individual liberty and rights that are brought to you by God.
I do want to give a shout out to, I believe it is Niles. If you take Dempster over to Milwaukee, it's all American flags down Milwaukee Avenue. And I was so surprised because there was gay pride flags on Lincoln Avenue. I don't know, in Lincolnwood, I don't know if they've changed those now for American flags, but Milwaukee Avenue, man, I made a right-hand turn and I was pleasantly surprised because NBC News wrote an article too, to fly or not to fly the American flag. And people that have Trump derangement syndrome so perversely cannot celebrate America's 250th birthday. And I want to say to them, go overseas, live in Europe, go to Gaza, and then you will find out in a hot second the freedoms that you have here in this country and how you should be respectful of them. But they're so upset about Trump still that they can't celebrate our 250th anniversary.
Yeah, and you go back to that SCOTUS decision this morning on birthright citizenship in those countries that you named off. They don't have birthright citizenship. We're one of the very few countries that do this, if not the only significant one. And and you also have to wonder. This was the SCOTUS challenge was Trump v. Barbara. It was Trump versus an individual person arguing for birthright citizenship. This is all over his executive order. Would the decision had been different had not there been so much TDS going on in America? I mean, they're human too, these justices, and you just got to wonder if perhaps it was such a political hot potato they didn't want to take it on.
Well, real quick before we get to the horse farm, I do want to. This is a quote from Bruce Watson. He lives in Massachusetts. He said in this NBC article, quote, "If we do fly the flag, we're also going to put out a sign to make it clear that we are not MAGA." There you go. That's Trump derangement syndrome right there, folks.
Yeah, no, it's like the people that, said F you as they turned the corner and they saw my banner that just says happy birthday, happy 250th birthday, America. I mean,
you never tweeted out that
crazy.
picture. I never got to see it.
I maybe I didn't tweet it out. It is on my Facebook page.
Okay.
Well, hey, moving on. So we know our governor signed the largest general revenue budget in state history, up a good $16-17 billion since he took office, includes $800 million in new taxes. I think when we were on with Paul Vallis, and he's been keeping track of it along with IPI, I think we're at like 65 or 66 new taxes costing something like $77 billion in total over the 8 years of Governor Pritzker's time in office, or 7.5. Well, here's a contrast. Governor Ron DeSantis signed Florida's FY27 budget. State spending has declined for 4 consecutive years.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Must be nice.
This is from Unleash Prosperity. What makes this all more miraculous is that Florida and Texas have had the second fastest increase in population since 2020. DeSantis leaves Florida with an $18 billion reserve. They've got AAA credit rating, of course. And Florida's have received nearly $9.7 billion in tax relief. Okay, just the contrast in that just tells you everything you need to know. And then we have this story here, because this is how they're spending your money. This I appreciate Chicago Tribune, Southtown, Daily Southtown, writing about this. Planned addiction recovery horse ranch in Crete is going to receive $2 million from the state. This is, of course, a pork project by State Senator Patrick Joyce. And I got to thank Cal Skinner for McHenry County Blog for bringing this to my attention. He said he grew up to believe the vision in a live-in addiction recovery center at a 68-acre horse ranch in unincorporated Crete through the attitude of its founder, Jim O'Connor. I'll tell you, that guy is high energy, Joyce said. I think it's going to be one of our most successful programs. Okay, great. Go ahead if you want to do this type of addiction center. But why am I paying for it when it's his own nonprofit? I don't understand that, Amy.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And I'm for, people that are recovering alcoholics that, and I know that they need help. And if that takes them away from the bar by going to a horse farm and riding horses, I understand that. But normally you just have to pay for it yourself.
Well, they're going to construct housing for up to 30 men in recovery to live long term.
Oh.
There has 7,000 square foot communal lodge and a pair of single family homes for project leadership. J.B. Pritzker recently signed the state budget and earmarked $2 million for Second Story Ranch. It's an investment O'Connor said will help meet its goal to begin construction sometime this fall. Okay. All right. So 30 men, $2 million. And that's just the start. There's no doubt there's going to be ongoing taxpayer support for this. And he's advocating for an additional $3 million within the next 6 to 9 months to build a larger lodge and residence for program participants, most likely through state-distributed opioid settlement funding. So he's looking at $5 million. I mean, you know what? God bless you. Glad you have your non-for-profit. Glad you found your meaning in life to do this. But, there's a lot of other people doing a lot of other good work. And $2 million, $5 million.
And it's not going to stop there.
No, not at all. So
let's quickly want to go to George in Naperville. Good morning, George, and welcome to The Real Story.
Good morning. Will the drunks be able to talk to Mr. Ed while they're there?
George, be respectful for people who are in recovery. All right, we had a lot of text messages. We should talk about this tomorrow, Jeannie. Text message. My husband is nervous about putting out an American flag ahead of the 4th.
All right.
That is from a 773 area code. We'll talk about it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and God bless America.
All right. Everybody cares about health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, and so many of us are guessing our way